So these genes are still on the market today, both in the United States and Europe. If you Google them, you'll see that they're still being sold in vendors for Levi's and Target. So again, just being able to develop a product. These jeans originally, I think, were made for the middle class, blue collar, working, always on the move. They wanted jeans that were could maintain a little bit of the professionality, but also be flexible, be durable for those who are working. So this took off super well, not only in the United States and in Europe, but other Asian markets as well. So you can still find these. If you want to purchase a pair, just look them up. They're called Denizen, Denizen jeans. Um, and then this next example, so this comes from Amazon, again in India. Um, if we remember, these are going from developed countries out to markets that are still developing or poor countries, and then coming back into those global markets. So a lot of them are going to be based in the same places: India, Mexico, China. But this one is done by Amazon. They started a program called Bold, which is an MBA hiring program that allows students to get 2 to 4 years of MBA experience before actually doing their MBA. So this has been really good in terms of education because originally before this, Amazon required like 7 to 7.5 years of MBA experience before being able to work for them in their business department. So logistics, operations, management systems, supply chain. But this helps students get experience, but also allows Amazon to be working and functioning with employees or interns or whatever their status may be. So in terms of education, this really seems to be the model that the world is leaning towards. And this is really similar to the last one that I want to talk about. We touched on it briefly in class, but I was really impressed by what we were able to discuss. So our last example is the local one. So this is here from Hawaii. So this is talking about BYU Hawaii's Holokai program. So Holokai implements a triad of learning, which gives students a more holistic experience and educational background. So this is more to accommodate to the international students who come from diverse backgrounds, but is also good in the long run for being able to, market a career or just have a more well-rounded education. So for those of you who are familiar with Brigham Young University, we do have 3 campuses. So there's one located in Provo, that's our main campus, Idaho, and then one here in Hawaii as well. So just looking at numbers, BYU Provo has about 24,800 students, BYU Idaho 1,500, and then BYU Hawaii 2,500. And this was done from a survey in 2014, so I'm assuming these numbers may have risen a little bit since then. But as percentage of international students, BYU Provo has about 6%, BYU Idaho has 4%, and Hawaii has about 40%. So even in the huge difference of numbers, Hawaii being the smallest still has a huge range of international students. And then the last column just talks about, where those regions of diversity are. So BYU Provo, all 50 states, District of Columbia, and 110 countries. BYU Idaho, 50 states, more than 70 countries, and then BYU Hawaii, 70 different countries. So this last part really surprised me because typically, especially like as BYU Hawaii students, we like to talk about the diversity of the campus here. So just looking at those, I am thinking that through time and because of the sheer size of BYU Provo and BYU Idaho, yes, they are located on the mainland, so they're going to have students come from all those states, but they also have a pretty large international base if we're going to talk about countries. But I think at any given time, it's typically less than the saturation of international students we have on the BYU Hawaii campus. And so if you look over to the right, this is a diagram of the Holokai program that BYU Hawaii has started to implement. So this is that a student receives one major and then two minors or two certificates along with their major in different areas. So the three different areas are professional studies, math and sciences, and arts and humanities. And then, of course, at the core, there's religion, English, and math, which is more kind of general studies, required student credits for all university students to take. But with the Holokai, I think, and talking about reverse innovation, so BYU Provo was the first university started, and then Ricks College in Idaho became BYU Idaho. And then we also had the Church College of Hawaii here, which eventually became Brigham Young University, Hawaii. So in class, our discussion took an interesting turn because we talked about the possibility of Holokai being the main curriculum for BYU here, but also going out to the other BYUs and becoming the main curriculum there as well. So I would like to argue as an advocate of that happening. I don't know the time frame or maybe how fast, but just experiencing this class and globalization and looking at how diverse the world is becoming, because we are experiencing kind of that compression of time and space as we become more globalized. I think it's essential that we're able to accommodate to students with more international and more diverse needs, and that means more diverse education as well. So something else I drew a lot of information from was this talk, another TED Talk. So this is by Julia Middleton. I also included the link. I would recommend watching that. It was really good, but she talks about this concept of cultural intelligence. So defined there, it says the ability to cross borders and boundaries between different cultures and thrive in doing so. In so doing, love doing it, and never want to not do it. So she's the founder of a charity, Common Purpose, which is devoted to developing leaders who can cross boundaries between geographies, generations, sectors, specializations, backgrounds, and beliefs, both at work and in society. So as a peacebuilding major, intercultural studies is our main focus. So we talk about being able to see people beyond borders, beyond the basics of skin color or religion, what may be aesthetic and appear on the outside, but being able to really connect with them despite our differences. So in culture and cultural interaction, especially in this class, I've learned that it's really crucial to be able to appreciate those differences, because regardless of how much we understand about culture or know the way we should behave when we are approached with cultural differences, things will be difficult for us to accept, or concepts that maybe we don't understand. And so I believe applying this to reverse innovation is really inspiring, because people in developing countries can do things just as well as we can in developed countries or larger countries. But I think it's even more special in the way that they can do that to adapt to people's needs. And just kind of to tie that up, I believe that culture diversity really is the key in conflict resolution, and also to economic growth, but being able to be inclusive instead of exclusive. So this quote I really like. It says, "On either side of a potentially violent conflict, an opportunity exists to exercise compassion and diminish fear based on recognition of each other's humanity. Without such recognition, fear fueled by uninformed assumptions, cultural prejudice, desperation to meet basic human needs, or the panicked uncertainty of the moment explodes into violence." So, just to conclude, I I think an argument can be made for reverse innovation, that it's going to be, um, not just innovative, but I think it's like the future of our families, of our children, of the generations that are going to come after. Um, because if we really want to be successful um, in business and people, we have to understand relationships. And there's not, I mean, there's a way to be successful without following the trends of globalization. But I think there's another way to define success in terms of, being a successful teacher or being a successful mother or a successful business owner. But I think there's a component of cultural diversity, essentially globalization, that needs to be included when we're considering um, following those passions or those intuitions or whatever they may be. Um, so I agree with Vijay. I agree with um, Julia. I think that there needs to be more talk kind of about this cultural intelligence, um, being able to understand each other intelligently through culture, um, and then using those to be able to improve our products, improve our services. Um, so that all kinds of people are included in the global scale of economy and um, of understanding. So that's what I learned about being able to apply that personally in my own life, but also locally in Laie in Hawaii. And I'm really excited to see what the future looks like, not only for Brigham Young University Hawaii, but for other institutions who may be doing this, coming to this realization as well. Um, and I think I can take this, wherever I need to be, whether that is in the United States or in developing countries, um, and find value in being innovative and being creative, no matter what their circumstances are, and knowing that that can connect people, create success, um, and just overall a more peaceful world. So that's my video. Thanks for watching. You can check out those TED Talks. I put the links in there. Otherwise, aloha, mahalo, have a great day.